one of the phone calls that I got, I think what the most interesting one, was a call from Congressman Hinchy's office. And they said, you have 15 minutes to make up your mind. Would you like to become the lead municipality for the railroad bridge? And there was quiet. And I said, well, it won't take me 15 minutes. It'll take me 15 seconds. And I said, yes, we would. Because the bridge was one of the mayors, was one of my favorite mayors, Mayor Eastman, who really helped promote the bridge and its usage. It actually started earlier than that, but Eastman was just a very vigorous mayor, one who was with Eastman Businesses Institute. He saw a lot of transformations, just like me, just a very pro-building type of a mayor. And so for him, the walkway or the bridge was actually too full. It was primarily for commercial and commerce, but it would also be used for transporting troops across. And it was, at the time that it was built, just an engineering feat. And when you think of how deep the Hudson River is, it's really a fjord. That was quite a feat in itself. Looking at pictures, if you ever see them, of the bridge not being there, it is just strange. Because it's just open. And so I've seen the bridge on many occasions. And the other part of it was when I was working for I Love New York, I got a phone call from Fred Schaefer and Bill Seppi asking if I wanted to come and see the bridge. And so on a number of occasions I'd been up on the bridge. And just as a lover of the Hudson Valley, there is nothing more spectacular than to see what I call the prehistoric geological formations along the coast of the Hudson Valley. It's very distinctive, and you see that from that bridge. It's just it's a really wonderful view. So all of those things were going through my mind, and I thought, if this doesn't happen now, I don't know how the other mayors will feel about it, because there was always kind of this controversy in terms of what was going to happen with the bridge. Many people wanted to tear it down. I thought that would have been an absolute total waste for 3 reasons from a mayor's perspective. One, you'll never have steel opportunities like this. The use of steel right now is very dear, it's very expensive, and they're just not making bridges this high because of insurance issues, among others, or liabilities. Secondly, the idea of using trail systems across water was one that was also being explored by other states, including Rochester. And so they showed that there was a real opportunity for doing something along that line. And the third one was, it is just a phenomenal bridge. Any way that you come into the city of Poughkeepsie or on 9W, there is just an outstanding bridge. And it's been a huge asset to the city in the past and to this region on many different levels. And to not see that bridge flourish again was something that I thought would have been just a real waste. So it took me 15 seconds to say, yeah. Then I went over to the Corporation Council, and I said, I think we just bought a bridge. Can we do that? So they assured me that we would work together with the walkway. The people at that time, they were just starting to really organize as a walkway group. But I thought it was just going to be a great opportunity.
What kind of evolution did you see the bridge?
Well, I think there was still some skepticism from some people in terms of the bridge. They'd looked at bridge designs, and thought of it in terms of condominiums and restaurants and different, ideas along that line. But I didn't think that was as practical. Many people thought in terms of just tearing it down, but when they looked at the cost of tearing it down versus keeping it and restoring it, and I think many people didn't think of the bridge as being particularly sturdy, which it truly is. When I was working for the economic development team in Albany, that was one of the questions, and although there had been feasibility studies, it was considered that this was probably going to be a very long-term, bridge that was going to be standing for a while. And we had actually considered ways that we could look at the bridge on an economic development basis. But what the walkway people actually did was really help in terms of envisioning how that could be used. And so I think that was important. Their commitment was important. They're wanting to reach out to government agencies, which had really not been explored very much before, looking in terms of other corporate partners, which was very necessary, and working with our legal team one of the things that had to happen was, as a lead municipality, it basically means this. In order for you to get federal funding, you have to have a municipality agree to be a pass-through agency so that that money can reach the organization, because they can't reach it directly. And so in doing that, what happened was our legal team, administrative team, helped to organize the grants, helped to organize how that process was going to happen. But a third thing also began to make a difference. When I was a mayor, I was called by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, to take a look at how I thought the city should develop. And that was the second component of this as we started moving along with the walkway people. And the project that I thought would be great is to actually use the bridge as a means of developing an economic development core in the northern part of the city. We call it the Enterprise Corridor. But when I took it up to MIT, and I was with about 7 other cities, they took a look at the other cities in terms of what their project was. But as I said to them, this is really the industrial, to me, an opportunity for America to take a look at manufacturing and industrialization all over again. And this bridge is kind of a pathway for people to look at that. I mean, it's a solid, if you want, a kind of a logo for the industrial part of when America was seeing its heyday, and when the city of Poughkeepsie became a queen city. And so when they looked at the bridge, the walkway, and the extension of that corridor for new prototyping and fab, as we call them, companies and manufacturing, they said, boy, this is just a natural. And so they actually were very helpful in terms of planning a future for the city, including that walkway. I think one of the most incredible sights that we want to reintroduce to people is the sight of a locomotive actually crossing the bridge. Because you realize how big those trains were and how high they were, you know, crossing that bridge. And the first time I saw that footage of this train coming over the railroad bridge, I almost fell out of my seat. And to imagine that for years, for well, more than 100 years, that train bridge was a very effective use of commerce, of transporting of troops, and even kids hitching a ride.